If Japan is wrong, Africa could be trapped in fresh cycles of dependency and debt. But if it works, the world's balance of power could shift for generations. A storm brews in Yokohama, inside the city and across the world stage. Beneath the headlines, one question demands attention. Can Japan's bold new gamble truly help Africa rise as a global powerhouse? But this is not charity. It is a calculated challenge to old playbooks, outmaneuvering both Western aid and China's infrastructure blitz. While China built roads and piled on debt, Japan is betting on partnership, technology, and trust. At the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, Japan has unveiled an economic vision unlike any before. Imagine this, more than $5 billion in loans, training for 30,000 artificial intelligence specialists, and the blueprint for a sweeping new economic zone connecting Africa to the Indian Ocean. So why is Japan, a nation defined by precision, rewriting the rules of global development now? To answer, we need to look closer at this radical plan and why timing has never mattered more. Japan's vision begins with a single radical idea: forge prosperity through co-creation, not control. But how does this play out on the ground, and what risks lurk beneath the optimism? Why has the world's third largest economy turned its gaze so intently toward Africa's future? The answer lies in Japan's unconventional strategy, a sharp divergence in a time when alliances are shifting and economic power is up for grabs. What hangs in the balance is Africa's economic fate and Japan's influence on the next era of world trade. In the past 2 decades, China's Belt and Road Initiative has poured untold billions into African infrastructure, roads, ports, power lines. Yet, this investment brought a heavy burden, mounting debt that now threatens to drown several African economies. Western aid, meanwhile, is fading, and the world's focus is drifting elsewhere. Japan's entry onto the African stage did not happen overnight. Since the early 1990s, Japan has been quietly forging ties through the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, or TICAD. Unlike others, Japan's approach centers on partnership, not patronage, mutual respect, not handouts. This stands in stark contrast to China's meteoric rise.
Africa leaders now face a critical choice. Do they double down on old partners and risk further debt, or seek out new alliances that promise a different future? The wrong decision could mean not only financial crisis, but a loss of political voice and a diminished place in global trade.
But what exactly is Japan offering that sets it apart from rivals? The answer reveals a bold vision for an interconnected future. Japan's latest initiative is not just another play for influence. It represents a new kind of alliance, one grounded in trust, technological exchange, and shared growth. This is more than investment. It is a blueprint that could reshape economies and transform millions of lives. Japan's tech-focused, low-profile strategy really outmatched China's decades of bold construction and vast spending. The rivalry is intense, and the outcome could define Africa's future. For years, China's mega-projects have brought shiny cities, new ports, and sprawling railways, but they have also left countries deep in debt and increasingly dependent. Now, some African leaders are wary. Are these deals a leap forward or a dangerous trap? On the ground, skepticism lingers. Africa has seen grand promises fade before. Can Japan really deliver more than empty headlines? Will it prove trustworthy when so many have failed? As China's checkbook diplomacy grows and Western support wavers, African countries urgently seek real allies, not just another quick fix. Japan enters with a different pitch. It is not flooding the continent with indiscriminate billions. Instead, it offers loans that are cheaper and more transparent, aiming to avoid the debt spirals that haunt other partnerships. But Japan's plan goes beyond money. It is about building skills, training tens of thousands of African AI specialists, and connecting local startups with Japanese firms. The ambition? Genuine co-creation, where innovation sparks on both sides. If Japan cannot deliver real results or lasting trust, it risks losing all credibility, and Africa risks losing its shot at true agency in global trade. The cost would be measured in wasted years, lost money, and missed futures for millions. The stakes are immense. This gamble could define Japan's influence and Africa's role in the next era of world commerce.
Japan's bold initiative は is about more than money. It's a test of trust, collaboration, and vision. What happens next could tip the balance of global power.
Imagine merchant ships tracing new routes from Mombasa to Mumbai, their cargo holds brimming with African-built tech, fresh produce, and digital inventions. Could this daring vision truly anchor Africa at the center of global commerce? But the stakes are immense. If this vision never moves beyond speeches, Africa's economic rise and Japan's credibility could slip away. But how realistic is this transformation? The hurdles ahead are formidable, and not everyone is convinced Japan's gamble will pay off. But beyond the summit's polished speeches, how will this plan truly reshape daily life on the ground? Japan's blueprint recasts Africa not as a passive recipient, but as a powerhouse, a driver of trade and innovation. No longer just pouring in endless billions for concrete and highways, the focus now turns to smart farming, guided by artificial intelligence, scholarships that turn students into world-class coders, and healthcare transformed by digital tools. These AI-powered seeds, sown through real training, are meant to spark entire new industries. If this works, African nations gain true agency. No more just exporting raw resources or waiting for foreign handouts. They could leap directly into tomorrow's industries, diversifying exports, challenging global rivals, and charting their own future. For Japan, it is more than just access or influence. Its global standing will hinge on whether this partnership drives genuine change, not just another empty promise. But if promises dissolve, cynicism and dependency will only grow, leaving hopes dashed and potential wasted. In the end, bold announcements matter little unless they become steady, visible change year after year. If Japan's pledges prove real, millions across Africa could soon see change where it matters most. Low-cost, transparent loans may finally unlock funding for schools, clinics, and roads, vital projects too often stalled by hidden debts or crushing interest. For families, this means more children in class, healthier loved ones, and smoother paths to market. Genuine transformation, not just flashy headlines. Japan's push for AI training is more than a showcase of tech. Training tens of thousands of African specialists could ignite new industries, smart farming, digital health, thriving startups, and ambitious partnerships with Japanese companies. This is a wager on African ingenuity, and if the ecosystem grows, it could spark a wave of jobs and innovation, empowering a generation to lead global trends, not just follow them. Yet the true test runs deeper than any single loan or training course. Lasting impact depends on something no contract can force: mutual trust and accountability. Will both sides commit for the long haul, resisting old cycles of dependency or unkept promises? If so, they might build a new template for global partnership, one rooted in shared growth, not fleeting deals. So, as the dust settles on the summit, the real question becomes who will step up to turn vision into reality. The answer could redefine the future for millions. History could mark Yokohama as the true turning points, but only if bold promises are matched by real action and enduring trust. Right now, the fate of global power hangs in the balance. Japan's daring partnership with Africa might spark a new era of fair, tech-driven growth, or become just another line in the long list of broken deals. This is more than diplomacy. It is about who gets to shape the future, who commands emerging trade routes, who creates jobs, and who harnesses artificial intelligence. For Africa, it is a rare chance to shed the weight of old debts and donor dependency, to claim a seat at the table as a genuine partner, not a recipient.
For Japan, it is an opportunity to rewrite the global playbook. Instead of simply flexing financial muscle, Japan can prove that smart investment, respect, and partnership lead to lasting influence. The world is watching to see if this partnership delivers real change or if it ends up another empty headline. The risk is real. If trust falters or progress stalls, the moment will slip away and familiar powers will dictate the story. But if Africa and Japan succeed, a new model will emerge, one where African innovation fuses with Japanese technology, and both nations redefine global development itself.
This is the moment. Will Africa and Japan seize it together, or let history repeat itself? The answer will echo for decades, shaping whose voices define tomorrow.